So, hello, and welcome to a new series on this channel. My name is Erados12, and we're going to get started. So, if you've been wondering what the series was, it's about, well, let's just say, the future of this game and the present. The present being everything we've done so far, and the past included, and the future being, well, what's coming up in the next update or two. So, without further ado, let's actually get started. The first thing you'll notice, once we get to it, is that Smithery is now being worked on, as well as some squad-related things. We're going to be showing some clips in a minute, but Smithery is nearly finished and will be out on the 14th of June. That's right, in 3 days or less. So, let's go over the clips that we currently have. The first clip is going to show you the intro. The intro is supposed to be building something up and then destroying it in playtime or runtime. That's what this is about. And as you can see, it fades out and says Smithery Editor. Once that happens, you have a menu. That menu is right here. So, now keep in mind that this is not really finished yet, the menu. The only thing that doesn't work so far is the exit to menu, because it requires teleport service. However, the other three work just fine, especially load and save. Now, let's keep going with this. Next clip, please. The next clip shows where I test out the load feature. Even though this is already working, you can clearly see that you can load any map you want. Up to 5 of them can be chosen. And the fact that when you load the map, it literally fades and loads the map. How does this work, you may ask? It's actually some software engineering magic. We use something called a DSM or data store model. Basically, it's like a migration type thing where you have a set of pieces of data, and when you first load a first map for the first time, or new map for the first time, or whenever, it will actually populate that map with data and give you what you should have, a blank map. Now also, this is used to update it if there's anything missing. Next video. The next clip shows me actually using the camera. Now before, this used to use anything, even mouse, without having to click a button. However, we changed that. Now it uses the left or right mouse button, the right mouse button, to actually allow you to turn the camera or pan it in this case. And also, as you can see, there are some loaded things. Like literally, there are loaded objects from before in this map. Keep in mind that this is still a work in progress regarding the camera, but we will be adding more over time. Next clip. Now this one is sort of a recap. We added this back in February, but you can make basic portions and resize them properly as well. However, there's more. This stuff is going to be used to build a maze for a demonstration, probably after the fact, probably on the 17th. Right now is definitely not the time to be doing this. But you get the point. Anyways, next clip. The next clip you're about to see is of the part being resized itself. Now this does work. However, I'm going to throw a little bit of future regarding this update into it. If you didn't know, the resize tool only works when you're doing it side by side. But we might add a control plus resize feature, which allows you to do it on both sides. Yes, just before it releases. However, keep in mind, it's not going to be easy, and that's fine. I mean, what's wrong with it being hard? That's the joy of doing things, to challenge yourself. Anyways, next clip. This clip is of me placing down spawns for the player and AI. Why is this important? Well, if you didn't know, there was a test or unit testing system added specifically for checking these maps. And in order to do certain things, like playing Lifeline in a Smithery map, you need literally 8 or more spawns in order to do it. That way you have the enough or good amount of spawns needed for certain squad types, such as the French squad layout, and even the regular ones that use 8-man squads. So with that being said, let's move to the next clip. Now in this clip, I've already added what's needed, and all I have to do is click save. As you can see, it fades out, and bam, it's saved. It doesn't do that without problems if there's a notification that pops up. This is also the last clip for the present, so keep in mind you will need to make sure that you're doing this right. Oh, and another thing, that sound or audio thing you see in the middle, that's a reverb area. That allows sound to be changed regarding reverb so that you hear things differently, which is also a part of the engine as well. Anyways, let's move to the future. Now, if you remember, back in October of last year, I actually showcased something that could possibly happen in the next update, the mobile version of Rodblogan Warfare. Now, judging from this, you may think the future looks bleak. Who would want to put their game on mobile since it's being used as a cash grab? That's a generalized statement. You don't generalize things here. We sure don't. The only time we do that is if we have actual hard evidence. And the thing about this, currently, there's evidence that there can be good games on mobile. However, they have to be done carefully. In other words, they have to stick true to where they came from, and they also have to do things differently so that it still works, and so that it's not a cash grab. So anyways, let's get to that. If you heard that, you may not know this, but I do live in an apartment, so keep in mind that the noise is normal. Nothing to worry about. Anyways, let's move to the next topic, which should be the character and logistics update, the meat and potatoes of the entire thing. Now, if you noticed before, jumping used to be, and it still is, kind of bunny hoppish, which is sad because I thought we fixed that earlier, but I realized we didn't. So this is what's going to happen, first and foremost. Jumping, and I'm dead serious, is going to be tied to stamina. Yeah, it's true. It's going to be tied to stamina when we get there. The reason why I want to do this is so that the stamina can control how many times you jump, similar to what you would see in RB battles from Nexus Avenger. When I actually looked at the project through Rojo and Roblox Studio, of course, I found that there's an exhaustion mechanic, where if you jump too much, you get exhausted, obviously. So that could actually go in the game and work, and it makes it more tactical. Except you will not see the text. You just won't be able to jump. The only time you see any cues is if you're the RST. With that being said, let's move to the next topic in this list. So you may be wondering, well, what about the other stuff that you mentioned? Logistics, character. Here's the deal. You may see the M16 return. You may see the characters get more attributes or things that they could use. You never know what's in this update. However, there is one thing I can confirm about the logistics update. You probably might see some missions that involve the bandolier, or the unit that uses machine guns. And you might see more machine gun, or even, in general, more related things to ammunition and equipment. Right? Why is this important? Well, in order to use the barrels and stuff like that, or the machine gun, you have to have a barrel. You get one by default in the gun, but when it goes red on things like the M60, that's when you have to change it out. This mechanic is real. To remedy the problem of not having enough barrels in the end to replenish, we're going to add a barrel pack, which is basically like the ammo box, but it supplies barrels instead of ammunition. You also, speaking of the devil, might see The ammo boxes carry belt boxes, but they're bigger. Anyways, that's what I had planned for that part of the update. Let's see if there's anything else that I want to talk about. You may be wondering, what about Smithery? You said there was going to be some updates afterwards. Yes, indeed. And in this update that's coming up, we might actually add, if we have it already, one of two things. Either Quetzal, the scripting language I demonstrated earlier on this channel through a live stream, or we might actually add what I like to call Montezuma. Now, Montezuma, if you didn't know, is actually supposed to be the UI editor for Smithery. Why is this important? It allows you to customize the UI to how you like it, making this more of a modding tool than you would ever get. However, when you do this, the map becomes very special indeed, bigger than what it is. It's called a map or Smithery mod. Now, Smithery map is just a map. There's no UI changes or anything scripted in there. But when you add content like Quetzal scripts and Montezuma user interfaces, then it becomes a mod. Basically, it's a group of things, and you could reuse the UI that you have if you want to. This is where the DSM comes into play, and it's quite useful. Anyways, let's move on. To close out this video and conclude, the present is focused on Smithery, but the future is focused on not just the characters and logistics, but also the mobile version of the game, which should be good, considering my knowledge and expertise in the field regarding not screwing up games. However, we shouldn't take that for granted. The future may be big, but it can also be a lie. So without further ado, that's going to conclude this video. My name is Erdos12, and I'll see you in the next one next week. Goodbye.